Hey everybody, Shawn here. This is my first time doing a video on my Bronco and how to do stuff on it. Today's video is going to be disassembling the fuel tank and putting in new parts. And I have here a 72 Ford Bronco that I'll be working on. And hope you guys like it. Like I said, this part's going to be covering the disassembly of the fuel tank and the parts that attach to it. I'm not replacing any of the fuel lines, just the filler neck, filler hose, vent hose, and yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoy this. Like I said, this is first time raw and uncut, and just putting some the different videos together, and that's about it. Hope you enjoy, and on to the disassembly. All right, this part's going to be covering the disassembly of the fuel tank and the parts that attach to it. I'm not replacing any of the fuel lines, just the filler neck, filler hose, vent hose, and yeah, that's about it. So I went ahead and I picked up this transfer pump here so I could remove the fuel from my gas tank. And you want to make sure that you have plenty of room for the fuel that's coming out. In my case, I have maybe 2 gallons or so that I'll need to remove. So, yep, I'm going to open that up and then pull off my cap. Stick the hose in, stick the other hose in down in the tank, and then the other one into the spare gas can and pump out the fuel. Okay, so I have the 2 fuel hoses that I'm going to use to siphon the fuel out, and as you can see here, even twisting, turning. It's hard to do this with one hand, but I wanted to show how this doesn't exactly go through the filler neck as easy as it seems, and I'm afraid to pull it back out, and then it doesn't. So the hose did not want to go down the filler neck here. It kept getting locked up somewhere, not sure where. So I decided to go ahead and remove this clamp. I'm going to end up cutting this hose so I can get access to here. I'm going to put the line in through there and remove the fuel, and we'll go from there. All right, so sorry, helicopter going by. I was able to get that hose off. It goes from the filler neck here to the actual inlet on the gas tank. And as you can see here, it's really bad, rusted up. Same with the other side. I'm just going to replace those as well as the hose. So this side here, I cut. It was on the filler neck side, and this way making it easier to get off. I wasn't planning on reusing the line anyways. And once I got this side off, I pulled it down, and then I added some striations on this one here just to make it easier to pull off. As you can see, there's a lot of weathering and stuff on this. It's pretty bad. So going to be replacing that. I also have the vent line here. It looks like a fairly new clamp on here, so this might have been replaced at one point. If it's in decent enough condition, I might keep it as a spare. I did get a new one, so I'll put that one on instead. And yeah, and I also have the hose set up here with the pump, and so I'm just going to be running this line through. I got the other side of this line that I'm going to run through directly into the tank port right there. So I have direct access because I just couldn't get it to go through the filler neck. Not sure why exactly, but that's all right. This will work. I plan on replacing those lines anyways. So interestingly enough, this is my first time ever trying to siphon fuel. So I stuck the line in pretty far through there, and I started pumping it, and then inertia took over, I guess it's called, or gravity or whatnot, and now it is doing its own thing and going on its own. Kind of hear it filling up right now. So yeah, anyways, it seems to be working pretty good. Like I said, this is my first time doing it. Don't know necessarily what the correct process is doing. So while I'm waiting for this is, like I said, a 13-gallon tank. Although even on complete empty, I've only been able to ever put in about 10.5 gallons. I'm putting the 23-gallon tank in from Tom's Broncos and got the hardware and stuff for it. And yeah, that's about it. Okay, so what we have going on right now is the fuel has been drained from the tank, at least 95% of it or more, and I put it into a portable gas tank that I could then dispose of later. As you can see here, I actually put on bad fuel on this because you really don't want to reuse that fuel if you can help it. I went ahead and removed the gas cap because I'm going to move on to the next part of removal of the filler neck and of course the rest of the tank. And so that's going to be the next stages. I'm going to set that up. Okay, so now I'm crawled up underneath. As you guys know, I removed the filler tank hose, not the filler neck yet. I'm working on that. But I'm going to remove the vent line here. I think it was replaced at one point, like I was mentioning. And so, by the way, I picked up a new stand so that you guys can actually see me do some of the work versus just saying, hey, I'm going to do this, and then remove it, and then you guys don't get to see it in action. So let me know if you guys like to be able to see this actually being done. This hose seems really stiff. Probably just going to go ahead and cut it here so I could get this neck off. I'm going to have problems with this bracket probably. It's pretty gunked up. They the previous owner, or at least someone before me anyways, sprayed some sort of undercoating or whatnot and got a lot of gunk underneath here. So this will be fun. If you guys like I said, like the video of actually me recording, me doing stuff. Of course, you can always fast forward through things that you don't want to sit through. Works too. I'm gonna do a slight camera move so you can see here. Yeah, there's a little clamp right up underneath here. It's not the easiest to get to either. You know, I love to hear stories from other Bronco owners and other people that have worked on vehicles dealing with gas tanks and so forth. Along with whatever topic you guys want to talk about is good. Happy to give my feedback where I can or respond. don't know, I've never done this before, so this is loose here. My big thing is I just want to be able to pull out this filler neck, and I think, like I said, I got those disconnected, and then, sorry for a little bit of shakiness, I'm just moving the stand. Surprisingly, I got this nice little small stand that seems to work pretty good as far as for underneath. Yeah, this seems really stiff. I got a new line anyway, so that's why I don't mind cutting into it. Just to get it removed. My thought is when it comes to fuel lines and stuff like that, just, it's not super expensive. I think I spent like, I don't know, like 15 bucks or something like that to get 2 new hoses. My blade is being difficult. And, you know, you don't want to get stuck on the side of the road because you didn't want to spend $15. Not that these hoses would get you stuck on the side of the road, but and it is just a vent line. But you also don't want to have to deal with the concept of filling up every time you fill up your tank, which hopefully is a lot because that means you're driving around enjoying your Bronco. You don't want to have to worry about those things. Also, if you've done fuel tanks before in general, I have not. I am figuring it out as I go, just because I have history of just mechanical things in general. So feel free to give feedback and comments about how awesomely bad I'm doing on removing a hose. And of course, I wouldn't feel bad at all if you decide to fast forward through this section. But if you want to hear me ramble on about things, this hose wasn't really all that great, but I don't think it would have been a problem reusing. There we go. All right, that section is down. The tank will be able to drop with this hose cut. At least it should. Might even be able to slide it out now if it plays nice. Oh, kind of wants to. I don't think this hose. I'm gonna try to unscrew the clamp a little bit more. I'm not gonna move the camera for that. So no magic behind the scene. I could actually see the neck, so I know I'm getting some progress. Aha! Success. And the clamp came with it, so I didn't have to dig it out. Da-da! Alright. So now that the hose is disconnected, I can go ahead and move on to the next stage, which will be... Here, I'll move the camera so you can see. Some of the next stages will be... excuse the... I'll have to disconnect. This is not working out too well. Sorry, guys. Up and through here, I have the line that goes to the tank, and where that blue cap part is there, that's the ground, I'll have to disconnect that. And then remove this hose line here, and then disconnect the fuel sender here, which will actually should come off pretty easy. There we go. Bam, already removed it. Sorry, not focusing very well. Hopefully I could just reuse this. I don't know if I want to replace it right now. And then there's the fuel sender. I'll disconnect this. I don't know if I'll end up replacing this hose because I don't have one right now. This one right here. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the camera and get repositioned for another shot, and talk to you guys soon. Thanks. Okay, so I mentioned that about the disconnecting the ground. I decided not to. I was going to replace that line, but it looks okay for now. I might replace it later. I don't know. You guys think I should replace it? Maybe I will. But I'm going to go ahead and remove this hose here. Like I said, I want to try to keep you guys in the action. I don't know how many times I've watched a video of some sort and they actually don't show you doing the work. And sometimes I just want to see what's going on, you know. What kind of stuff you're running into, you know. Try not to get rust and dust on the camera, or my phone I should say. Probably replace this clamp. I might just run up to the hardware store and replace this hose. It feels really weak. I don't know if I want to trust it. It should be easy enough to it's almost popping off here. You can see how it squeezes pretty good. I don't like that idea. There we go. Well, I'm glad it missed the phone. There was just a hint of fuel in that line. So yeah, I probably just want to, it's a small line, probably end up just replacing that. And replacing these clamps too. Take this off, and then these clamps are really bad. Very rusted. At least it was able to pop free here. There we go. This piece is now removed. I could take this to the hardware store, replace it. There we go. Couple hoses down. Gas tank disconnected from the power for the fuel sending unit, and then I'm replacing the fuel neck as well, so I'll be yanking that out. As you can see, it's pretty nasty. Oh, really hope that that piece here is not going to be too much of a complication, but we'll see. I'll get set up for that and start it back up. So got my toolbox out. It's getting nice and hot. And my tools. For me, my personal situation here is that these screws are been painted, not to mention the fact that if I can get any view of it at all, it's very nasty back here. And so I had to spray back here to try to loosen it up a little bit using the old handy dandy PB blaster. And I saved you guys the headache of having to use a mallet. Basically, essentially, you can hit this to loosen things up a little bit. I hit it really soft. Hopefully, it didn't come through too loud. And then the other thing is I used my screwdriver. Keep in mind, using a hard rubber mallet with a screwdriver, you can then pound in to the screw, which I did. It's kind of hard for me to actually demonstrate, but you get the drift of it, hopefully. And so this allowed me to loosen these up. So now I can turn them. I broke free of the paint and from the back where it was all gunked up from undercoating of some sort, and so on. So then I'll just loosen all three of these up, which have been, like I said, you put the screwdriver here on the end of this, just hit it with the mallet if you've never done that before, just to kind of get that screwdriver really snug inside there so you don't strip out the screw. And then just continue loosening these up, and that will take care of the filler neck on this end. And then we'll move on to the other end once I remove the rest of these screws. So I'm back up underneath the Bronco. Got some extra tools to work on this bracket here, and disconnecting it so I can actually remove the filler neck and vent hose neck, and so that could be removed. I have a 1/2 inch socket, deep socket, and I put it on a standard handle so that that when I try to, it's kind of like a mini breaker bar, so that I don't ruin a ratchet. And see if I can actually, so you guys are seeing it firsthand, see if I could actually break this loose at all. Like I said, there's like some sort of, sorry it blurred up on you here. Let's see if I get it back. There we go. You can kind of see that by hammering on the bar that I was able to loosen it up a little bit. And now that I've loosened it, this might actually, this is really, really bad. I don't know if you guys can see it all too well, but I brought me a couple brushes here, a soft brush that I could use to try to clean it up a little bit. There we go. Now it's getting exposed. The joys of something that's, you know, built back in '72. It's kind of how I feel. I was born in the '70s. Not to age myself at all. Now we'll see how that's turning there. Yeah, it's pretty gunked up. I think both sides of these are 1/2 inch. Yeah. might be a bad idea. Not sure. We'll see. I have this feeling it's not gonna come free. I'm gonna have to stop the camera so I can try to dig out some more tools. Oh, maybe got it. I did spray some PB breaker on it the other day. And it is turning, so that's good. There's a lot of buildup in there. Even tapping it's making a difference. Hope I don't bend this too much. That's why I didn't want to go with larger tools, because it's already tweaking on me. Really don't want that bracket to break. All right, I'm gonna stop this and see if I can. And I also have a wire brush too. I think what I'm gonna have to do is spray some more PB breaker on there, and hopefully not have to actually break it. Curious on if this is what you guys ended up doing or plan on doing, or if you had a better way to do it. Yeah, I really don't want to break this bracket if I could help it. I'll have to get some channel locks and bend it back once I'm done. All right, I'm gonna spray it, let it sit for a little bit, and then we'll go at it again. So I went ahead and sprayed more PB breaker on that bolt for the neck up there, that bracket right there, so that we can see if we get that loose. I also sprayed this one here, took some a wire brush to it, and I set up some blocks up underneath here with a 3-ton jack to reach it, since the Bronco sits up high enough to where my jack won't work. And I'm gonna disconnect this line here. I'm gonna go ahead and set this back a little ways. Give me 1 second here, you guys. Hopefully that will do the trick there, so you can see what's going on. Right over here, we're going to be removing this. This actually takes the other one. The bracket for the neck was a 1/2 inch, and this one here is your 9/16 socket. And I did a quick test to see if I could even move it, and it proved to be useful with the PB breaker, so that I wouldn't keep you on here too long trying to figure this out. Get this loosened up. There's a bracket here for the strap, and then it just hooks on the other side. And once that happens, now you have the filler neck go, so that's removed there. that's going to end up hitting from the tank. It'll hit the frame. So that's actually removed. That was nice. And then I'm going to try to move it up a little bit. And of course, I made the mistake of, see, you guys get to learn with me. I made the mistake of putting the strap right up underneath the tank. So now I can't hold up the tank. And there we go. So now the tank is reconnected. I'm going to lower this down. I can't remove the strap if it's directly underneath it. So I see what one of the problems is. Now this is going to offset the tank in my guess, which is why I want to, that's why the strap's in that exact spot, is to accommodate for that. So I'm going to see if I can lift it up through here without the strap. There we go. And be able to disconnect this, hopefully. Now that I'm not pushing up the strap, this doesn't want to loosen. Okay, so I have to loosen it a little bit more. That's okay. I'm okay with that. There we go. That's what we wanted. So remember, ladies and gents, you're doing this. That. Oh, forgot to put my gloves back on. So that's one thing. I wanted to be able to make sure I push a button to turn the recorder on. See if I could spin around. Get over to this side real quick. It just kind of loops in there. And not exactly sure how exactly this is supposed to come out. I thought I was supposed to just disconnect. Not that I need to pull it out all the way, I guess. Luckily, this kind of bends. Probably can't see me too well right now. Like I said, not that I needed to pull it out right at this moment. Gonna try to lower this tank down a little bit and see what happens. Get myself out of the way. So honestly, I don't care if it comes crumbling down for the most part. Rather it not, of course. Moving my light, it doesn't break my light. There we go. Nice. Lowering it down. Ideally, having a friend helping you probably would be ideal in this circumstance. I'm just gonna hand balance this a little bit because it's gonna want to tumble on me. I just have it lowering down on its own really nice and slow. I have a tank out. Yay. Okay. Hopefully you saw how I did that. I am weirdly surprised on how it went. In a small way. All right. Okay. So I was unsuccessful with getting the bracket strap disconnected down there, but it's just dangling. I should be able to pull that off. Here's my nice and crusty tank. And this is the neck filler I was talking about on the tank that was on the other side of the frame. So when I was here lowering it down, hopefully you guys were able to see it. It was tilting like this because this part was actually hitting the frame. And so when it tilts like that, I was just trying to guide it with one hand while lowering this down. And by setting this up with just a little bit of release on it, it just went down nice and slow, allowing me to have as much control as I can. Oh yeah, and that's my other babies. By the way, you guys are probably seeing it right now. Excuse the mess. I'm going through a big change here. I'll give you a sneak peek. Like I said, excuse the mess. I just got a new workbench set up over there. I'm putting up another one. I'm gonna have a shop over here. That's just a little side tangent just to show. This shelf's gonna be moved over to here. That wood bench over there is gonna be moved to here. That's why I could show you guys more projects and so forth. I have another one of those benches there I'm gonna put up there with a toolbox and so forth. But anyways, back to this. Sorry for the small tangent. Excited about getting this all set up so I could share it with you guys. So we got the tank out. More or less the disassembly is there. Like I said, I gotta still pull that one bolt off with the neck for the neck filler, hopefully not breaking that bracket, and go from there. So I'll get things set up and see you soon. Alrighty, so I did end up getting this out. That lovely bolt you guys saw me messing with right here, it is nice and broken. I was trying to avoid that by not using a impact wrench. My drill, because I didn't want to break it, but it broke anyways. So I'll have to get another one of those. These are the screws that came at the end of this here. I'm gonna replace those with some stainless steel. I'm gonna replace all the different hose brackets. I need to get me another one of these hoses. I don't have this. I do have this hose here. As you can see, it's really, really bad. This one was just like super stiff. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe you guys could comment and let me know. And then of course I had this that I had to take out. Here's the end of it if you're curious on how it went, how it hooks inside. There's just a tiny, I guess I could show you guys real quick. Right there is just a little hole in the frame that you can stick that through. And of course there's my old gas tank with the fuel sender. There was actually nothing wrong with the gas tank itself. You put fuel in it and you can use it. The fuel sender is bad, but other than that, it works fine. And then also, I'll have the same issue with this. There's two lines that go in and out here, so you just run a hose from one to the other. So I'll need to replace these as well on the new tank. And otherwise, back to this here, I went ahead and set them all up, and then I can compare it to what I have and what I don't have, and get everything I need before I go and jump on that. You can see here I have new clamps and the new filler neck hose. I have the filler neck itself, my old gas cap, made sure that fit on just fine. And then I have a new vent line, and I do have some extra clamps, so I'm going to see what I have together before I start the assembly process. But we got through the actual stages of taking it all apart, and I hope this really helps you guys in your process of removing your gas tank. And then I will create another video that will go and take this next to the next step and install a 23-gallon tank that I got from Bronco Parts, and go from there. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to make this a two-parter or for the disassembly, or just make one long video. Would love to hear your comments as well. Maybe I'll put it up as a full video, and then you could put comments down below on whether or not you would rather have had it broken up, so I know for future if you'd prefer to have something that's shorter versus something that's longer. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'm hoping to put up some more videos in the near future as I go to put the new gas tank in. Just to give you an idea, I also have a 2.5-inch lift suspension from Broncos that I'll be installing, as well as a new hood that I got from Wild Horses. I actually have that hood on. This is just foam, so it's not hurting anything, but I have the new hood just being sit here right now, test fitting it. Yeah, anyways, once again, thank you for watching the video, and until next time.